Welcome to the B2T Show, where we empower Christian patriots with truth. This is Rick, your host. Here we are on Thursday, April 9th, one day till 4/10/20. 4/10/20, Good Friday. Wow, is that exciting? And then we obviously have Easter Sunday coming up only a few days later. This is quite exciting times. Right now we're talking about FISA crimes, a bunch of new Q posts. We've got some a great thread by Praying Medic as well, some finds by Matrix. Just exciting things going on everywhere. Appreciate you guys all joining me. I see a ton of people already on. We've got Gene as a moderator, as well as who else do we have? We've got David Operate from New Zealand coming on first. I love it. Christina from New Zealand as well. You gotta love the first two people on. Northern Cattenberry. I'm not sure exactly what that is. That's cool though. Nazi Germany. Oh no, Gene's just talking about Nazi Germany. I hope we don't have anybody joining from Nazi Germany. So where are you guys all from? Because we see it's all fun. West Virginia, we got hi from Scotland, Shirley from Scotland, California's in the house, Casey's in the house. It just jumped on me. Kansas is in the house, Nebraska, Southern California, Florida, another person from Phoenix, Arizona, etc. I saw another New Zealand, but that's awesome. Okay, let's get rolling here because there's a bunch of fun stuff to talk about today. We have this movie coming out tomorrow. I wanted to make sure everybody knew about. So in the Matrix, had them on the show. Liz and a bunch of other people put their hearts and souls into this. And it's coming out tomorrow, Friday, April 10th, Out of the Shadows. So go to outoftheshadows.org. You'll see a bunch of trailers that are just fantastically well done. And that is going to be a movie that comes out tomorrow. And it's going to be an eye-opening movie. As long as we have internet connection and everything, we'll see about that. But again, go to outoftheshadows.org. I think you'll enjoy it. It can be fun. There's a lot of Q posts. I wanted to correct something, or not correct, it's just amplifying what I said yesterday on 3909. I was wondering what the 6+ was. That's obviously Soros, because we had the plus, which is Saudi Arabia. You had the 6++, which was England, right? And you had and the whole Rothschild, and then you had the 6+, which is Soros. So this is a big thing. The silent war continues, and it's got 6+ in brackets. That means the United States part of this triangle is about ready to go down. That's quite exciting of what we're going to get into. Hey, let me talk about Noble Gold, the sponsor of this episode. Call them at 877-646-5347. Because the biggest fear people have in situations like the one now with the stock market is not actually losing money. You'd be surprised. No, the biggest fear is losing their status with their friends and their family. The ones that have always looked up to you. To be working at the checkout of a local supermarket when your old friends are off playing golf or on vacation like you used to is soul destroying. Gold has risen, you ignored it, and you lost out. This has been on the cards for quite a while now, and this bull market in gold actually started in 2015. But if you didn't take action before, it's not too late. Putting some precious metals in an IRA or 401k rollover gives you safety net against anything bad that's coming. Or you might just have some cash sitting in the bank making less than 0.5%, and you've been meaning to move it into something different. Get some gold or silver in your hands. Noble Gold has helped thousands of clients just like you. Again, call now at 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347. Or hit the link down below this video and protect your retirement with a gold or silver IRA or 401k. Pretty cool. All right, let's get into these Q posts. So you see here, this was that 6+ in brackets, which is quite exciting. I think 10 of you said, hey dude, that's Soros. That's what we're talking about. Obviously that goes back, if you just do a search and go to 6+, you're going to see the 6+++, the 6++, and the 6+. And I just always summarize in my mind as just the 3+, the 2+, and the 1+. So the 6 kind of confused me, but yeah, I went back and looked at certainly it was 6. So we saw all these last night when we went over. Don't miss that show. That was a fun show to do. And just tons of news, tons of Q posts, all these April 8th ones. So he's been real busy after 10 days of not posting. And that's all these April 8th ones that we reviewed last night. I just want to go back to that one. Now, here's the first one today, 3918. We left off at 3917, which was talking about the human cannibals and spirit cooking. This one has a Fox News article on A.G. William Barr. And that's why I call this FISA crimes and the cure cover-up. This episode, you see Barr disappointed by partisan attacks leveled at President Trump and says media is on a jihad against hydroxychloroquine. And this is interesting, man. I had a person send me a message about this as well that I'll probably bring up too the more I think about it. Let me see if I can grab that. I'll grab this for later. I'm going to take it off screen right now. And I forgot to show you guys that. But the fact is just like we've been talking, Gene and I have been talking about the power of the 1 minute cure in hydrogen peroxide because it puts oxygen in your body, basically. This is Grace, and she's talking about the hydroxychloroquine, right? And this talks about, I am a social worker and practical nurse. The reason hydroxychloroquine works is because it contains CiO2, chlorine dioxide. Most illnesses create a metabolic acidosis, which essentially starves the body of oxygen. Viruses, for instance. I'm just going to make sure I hide these other names here. Viruses, for instance, have acidic capsules. Also, parasites such as malaria live in environments in which the body is starved of O2. Chlorine dioxide is an oxidizing agent. It has chlorine on one side and chlorine on the other. Virus has acids in the capsule, so they get denaturalized and destroyed, burned away from the bad bacteria and parasites. CiO2 is very selective. It targets acid pathogens. It also is a parallel oxygen carrier in the blood. And you're probably going to correct me on something. I hear you there. But go ahead. It increases the O2 in the bloodstream. CiO2 is used today by all blood banks to destroy pathogens in donor blood. It is also used to sterilize food and water. Big Pharma does not want people to know this. It cures people of many illnesses and is incredibly cheap. Please research Andreas Clacker for more information. Hydroxychloroquine is the baby brother of CiO2. It's been used for over 100 years. Malarial parasites cannot live in an oxygen-rich environment. Malaria starves the body of O2. It's simple principle. Most diseases can be cured by CiO2, thereby making Big Pharma obsolete. I can't verify that the elite have been using, well, I can verify that the elite have been using this for over hundreds of years. Let me know if I can help Grace. So thank you, Grace, for that information. Gene, you have anything else on that?
Yeah, the chlorine dioxide is what MMS makes.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yep.
So this is all the same stuff: the MMS, the hydrogen peroxide, and I'll do the hydroxychloroquine. It puts oxygen in your bodies, and the elites want us to be deprived of oxygen so that we are sick, and they give us these big pharma drugs, many that don't work. Quite sad, but he talks about this in detail right here. Now this is like an 8-minute video, so I can't play that, but I'm gonna play 8 minutes, 38 seconds. Worth listening to. This is an interview by Laura Ingraham, fantastically done. But he clearly shows that they're on a jihad. He actually uses that word. I'll play that video here in a second, but it's quite interesting to hear about him being really blunt about what's going on. I was going to see if this one was going to play a commercial on me too. This is like 13 minutes, so these are the different parts of the Laura Ingraham show. So I'll play a few of those links here in a second, but a beautiful article to go look at. That's the first one that we see here. And Q says, difficult to imagine media, the Democratic Party, attempting to squash all hope of a cure. Difficult to imagine media, Democratic Party, wanting public to remain in fear regarding COVID-19 up until the election. Difficult to imagine the media, Democratic Party, willing to sacrifice lives in order to regain power. Enemy of the people. difficult truths will soon see the light of day. Q. That is 3918. It's summarized by the board owners as the mainstream media and Democrats are the enemy of the people. And again, this wasn't a right versus left thing when it started, as they said, but now that they need to try to get rid of Trump, they've had to mobilize around the Democratic Party to try to win the election and knock him out, or try to impeach him, obviously, which we saw as well. Now, 3919 gets into how do you hide the truth? Example, create a website and label it fake. How do you hide the truth? Create a public trend regarding the term conspiracy to humiliate, typecast as mental crazy loonly anyone who opposes the narrative. And I think this is kind of referring back to this cannibalism sites and stuff that he talked about yesterday. How do you hide the truth? Control majority of media to echo a controlled message regarding a desired topic. Q. And this is really interesting. 1967, I believe it was, right after after Kennedy was assassinated, they came out with the Warren Commission report, which was done by the people who allegedly put together the assassination, right? I mean, people that Kennedy fired, Robert Dulles was in charge of that as an example. And the fact is they came up with this term conspiracy theory, and it was a psyop. It was literally there to a psychological operation. And you can go see this. I do whole videos on Operation Mockingbird, where they control this media, as we know, to literally tell people they're crazy. And that's what they did with Pizzagate. That's what they've done with QAnon right now. It's what they're doing heavily. So it's these topics that they don't want you to know about, they are going to label you this. That's 3919, how they hide their evil. They put it out front, then they make fun of it. Anybody that talks about it is a conspiracy theorist. They did that, obviously, with Comet Pizza. They had probably a MK Ultra person go in there and take a shot and hide everything they possibly could, and then make everybody look like a fool who believed anything about it. Now we're seeing that they were right on target, is what they were. But they use the conspiracy theory label, plus their fake media, plus their false FLAGs, all to make that happen. At 3919, we get to 3920 now. It says, what happens when state actors' assets are removed? How does a state actor gain leverage over a person in power? With blackmail. Define traitor. Data exchanges can be very dangerous. Q. So this is interesting because obviously we know that if they can't get you in the club, but so it doesn't mean that everybody that's acting in a evil way against we the people are all, satanic pedophiles. But what they do is they'll blackmail people that just say, because they monitor you, especially with the hammer that Obama used on every one of his political enemies, or you had the Alwan brothers looking at everybody's emails. You have all these different avenues of trying to surveil, and find something bad on you, and then they blackmail you into doing what they want you to do. And so that is a big part. And obviously the define a traitor, we've had that plenty of times, as somebody who's fighting against we the people, fighting against the country. It's really going to be interesting to see how this is all rolled out into to the Great Awakening. We'll see if I'm hoping something big happens in the next 3 days between obviously Good Friday and Easter, but I don't ever want to give my hopes up to there's going to be some huge thing, right? There are some interesting things pointing to that. It could be just a bunch of D-class things happening. It could be just a bunch of booms that other people don't think is a big deal, but we know will be a big deal. But it's going to be an exciting couple of years. It's going to be a couple of years to see these military tribunals and this war against the silent war. Remember, we're still on 2 dots on the silent civil war, right? So that's 3920. The summary of that is where state actors caught trying to blackmail people in power. So they've been blackmailing them for years, right? But now we've got everything, right? That we talked about the NSA especially. So this is probably the exciting one. This is one I kind of named the episode after as well. It's 3921. It says FISA indictments equals start. Q. It also says we're going to be shocked when we see the first indictment. So I doubt it's going to be the Comey or McCabe's, but other people are thinking that this probably means it's going to be Comey. And And I think it would be really cool if it was Soros, right, or something big, or a big name like that. We'll see what happens. That's 39-21. FISA indictments equals the start. Now we get to 39-22. Bill Barr's interview with Laura Ingraham, and that is another link to it. This one is a shorter link that I can actually play because it's like a 37 seconds or something. But this Luke Goldberg says, preview a part 2 interview with Ingraham. What's happened to POTUS was one of the greatest travesties in American history. No basis for this investigation. What's even more concerning is what happened after the campaign, a whole pattern of events to sabotage the presidency. Wow, that's a big statement from Mr. Barr.
And I'm frustrated because I think what happened to him was one of the greatest travesties in American history. Without any basis, they started this investigation of his campaign. And even more concerning, actually, is what happened after the campaign, a whole pattern of events while he was president. To sabotage the presidency. And I think that, or at least had the effect of sabotaging the presidency.
Wow. Pretty interesting there, isn't it? And I guess Laura's going to have that on here soon. So here we got, that is the 39-22. And then we get to 39-23. And what we see is this poster. The hunters will become the hunted. The hunt is on. Below the depths of the DC swamp. In the invisible war for future of our republic, the tables are now turned, and now the hunters become the hunted. Patriots in control. In honor of Donald J. Trump. What's that say? Q Team Patriots. All Anons and every member of the Great Awakening engaged in the hunt. Where we go one, we go all. Enjoy the show. He's got a link here. It says, compare and contrast. Dates are important. Q. Talking about this Guardian article right here. Invisible enemy. Trump says he's a wartime president in coronavirus battle video. So we know when he says the invisible enemy, he's not talking about just coronavirus. He is talking about those who weaponize it, those who are trying to take him down. It's the whole cabal is the invisible enemy, right? And quite interesting to see how all that's happening. Hopefully it's not a commercial here. We can play.
But I want to say that I know that this is a challenging time for all Americans. We're enduring a great national trial, and we will prove that we can meet the moment. I want to assure the American people that we're doing everything we can each day to confront and ultimately defeat this horrible, invisible enemy.
There he is, calling that invisible enemy, right? Obviously talking about the cabal.
We're at war. In a true sense, we're at war, and we're fighting an invisible enemy. Think of that.
Yeah, so that is a interesting way that he puts that. Q's basically in compare and contrast. Dates are important. So if you guys have any insight, I haven't dug into that heavily about the actual meaning of what he's saying as far as where is that, the Goldberg, I think it was right here, the invisible enemy. Let's see if we need dates. Do some analysis with you guys right here. This is March 22nd, 2020 is when he said that. So March 22nd, 2020. So there's probably some analysis some Anons are doing right now. Compare and contrasting dates are important. From when he said that, maybe when this was posted before, etc. We'll go through a thread that a praying medic who doesn't have a full-time job like me, who actually does a really detailed analysis. I'll show you his threads. 105 posts between yesterday and today. Beautifully done, by the way. So follow him on Twitter if you're not following Praying Medic. One SB2 personally told me in an email that Matrix and Shady and Praying Medic were three of the most valuable Anons to the Q movement. Right, and I believe myself that SB2 is one of the 10 under 10, and he's the primary decoder. That's what Gene has talked about as well. 39-24. Obama's half brother Malik Obama follows Q. So here he is, Obama's half brother right there, and he actually posted a picture on his Twitter of the Where We Go One We Go All bell here that we've talked quite a bit about. Interesting, right? Then look at I always like look at the picture names. It's EVLVQ and then a bunch of gibberish. But if you go search on that on Google and look at books, you're usually going to find some books. So I haven't had a chance to do that today, but worth time doing that. Also, you can see right here, EVLTYQ. Yeah, that could be like evil, thank you, Q, as an example. But again, go search on that. Sometimes you'll find some, if you're a digger and want to go and analyze stuff yourself, that's some ways that we find out where Q is pointing us. We have, do you people really believe the biggest scandal in modern U.S. history will go unpunished? This is 3925. It says scot-free, and just notice that scot-free there, if you go look that up, that points back to the movie The White Squall. It's Scot-Free Productions. That's right. That's what they're talking about. But do you really believe the biggest scandal in modern U.S. history will go unpunished? And it's talking about a tweet that Trump made, which was right here. It says the Democrats and crooked Hillary paid for and provided a fake dossier with phony information gotten from foreign sources, pushed it to the corporate media and dirty cops, and have now been caught. They spied on my campaign, then tried to cover it up, just like Watergate, but bigger. And notice this was December 22nd, 2019. So several months ago. Use a Wayback Machine to look up archive web pages is what Michael Stan Trasky's talking about. So you can go actually see archive web pages. That's what he's talking about there. And so obviously this is back in December he was talking about that. And so it says back channels are important. Patriots stand at the ready. Shills whine. Q. So if you're whining that nothing's happening, you could be defined as a shill, okay? Because you're not studying very well, because you just go to qproofs.com. There's over 500 proofs showing that Trump is clearly working with the Q team to expose the cabal. There's way too many proofs to be beyond a coincidence. They just have to do it in a way that's a Socratic method of asking questions so they don't break any national security laws. They're taking this cabal down legally. That's the exciting thing. And yes, it takes patience and it takes time for the wheels of justice to turn. But once they start turning, it can be extremely powerful, especially when you get rid of the criminals out of it. Now, that's the first thing they had to do is clean up the DOJ, clean up the FBI. Can't really do anything without that, right? So now they've got that primarily cleaned up, we are standing at the ready. That's exciting. Patriots, stand at the ready. I almost called the episode that. Stand at the ready. Which means that things are about to go down, right? It's going to be the D class. Could it be the 3 days of darkness and everybody gets arrested, all that type of stuff? I think that's over optimistic, but heck, we know it's going to happen at some point in time. I personally don't think that all the big names are going to be wiped out soon, because Q's told us over and over again that the Guarding the Pedophile movie has to run, and where the average person, your average leftist friend, actually wants them arrested and they can't walk down the street. We're not at that point yet. And so now could this coronavirus epidemic change things up? I don't know. I think we're in for a longer ride of this battle. But I do think there's going to be something big happens in the next 3 days, and I'm looking forward to seeing whatever it is. But don't get your hopes up too much. This is 3926. And so the 3925, it was, the summary was, Patriots stand at the ready, shills whine. And if you look at 3926, we got all kinds of Q posts, didn't we? Pretty fun stuff. The truth is right in front of you, all in capital letters. The truth is right in front of you, Q. It's talking about this Breitbart article right here. It says CBS News plays Italy hospital footage again for report on U.S. coronavirus response. So the first time they do it, they show this picture of this hospital that's out of control, all this stuff going on, and they say, as they're reporting on the New York hospital, clearly showing that it was the New York hospital. Assume, most of anybody that watched that would think that CBS was reporting on the New York hospital. They got caught. They said, "Hey, sorry," and what do they do again? Now they're talking about a Philadelphia hospital, and they use the same footage. So CBS's news says editing mistake led to misleading video showing an Italian hospital during a segment on the New York coronavirus case or crisis. So that's a Daily Caller video article talks about it. And so after CBS News was called out for airing footage of a hospital in Italy and saying it was New York. They apologized and said it was an error. Less than a week later, they aired the same footage, this time when talking about Pennsylvania. And so here's the video. You can go see it, but it just shows you these are true enemies of the people. These are true people that are controlled by the cabal. These are true people right now trying to create panic. Versus, that's why we need to show faith and pray, and faith versus fear. That's the main thing that we need to do here. That is just showing, hopefully, as these trap questions happen every day with Trump, and he does such a great job exposing the nastiness or the snarkiness of these questions, right? As he calls them sometimes. The people are starting to see it. More and more people that would never watch news because they're sports fans or they're playing video games or they're doing all things now are focused. A lot of these people that are home are now watching these. They're incredible ratings, so they're seeing Trump in action, and I think that is starting to wake some people up, one step at a time, right? So 3926, the summary of that is CBS fake news caught misleading the public on COVID-19 for a second time. Whew. Here's 3927 has a tweet here and it says, "We are united in this fight. Where we go one, we go all. Q." He's talking about a tweet that came from Rwanda. Look at this, a Q patriot from Rwanda. Look at this guy. Let's listen to him.
From Rwanda, where we go one, we go all. From Rwanda.
This is a worldwide movement. That's all there is to it. We see that. Where we go one, we go all. There was a time when the world asked ordinary men and women to do extraordinary things. The band of Anons. That's Praying Medic doing some great work there. So that is 3927. And now we move into here and we look at refresh this to see if we got anything after 3927. Looks like we got through that. So we have a bunch of other news that's going to be awesome here. So here is, for instance, just if you go to vote.co, voat.co, and you, it's talking about 3921, FISA indictments equals start. This guy says implies corny, which is that trick they use. So when you do a search on Comey, C-O-M-E-Y, and they put the R and the N really close together, that's one of their tricks to hide their crimes. And so they think this means implies Comey may be the first. Get out your popcorn or your pop explosive communications. Here's another person talking about first indictment should include someone who is not in the government and yet is a household name. Sure, Andy McCabe is indicted. I can see that. Sure, Peter Strzok is indicted. Saw that one coming. What the heck? George Soros indicted? Now that would be something. Glad you asked, Normie. So now the normies would go, what? Why are they doing that? So that's this Anon's experience. That's why I like to go to vote.co and see what other Anons are talking about. There's a lot of crap in there as well. There's shills trying to, from the other side, trying to create problems. But they also have this April 9th. You see here, each time there's Q posts, they put them all up. And then there's some discussion. And so you can talk, you hear somebody says label, and this is the Anon replying to some of these posts. It says, label people crazy conspiracy theorists and get all the useful idiots on board. There have been 3 conspiracy theories that get hit the hardest. They are Pizzagate, spirit cooking, and of course, QAnon. The greater the intensity opposing these theories, truth, the greater the energy we should put into sharing these ideas with the normies. Normies being the blue people, the people that just have not woken up. They trust the media, or they just trust what other people say. And if they just don't really study this stuff, you're obviously going to just believe the narrative, because that's what you'll hear, at least from, if you don't hear it from news, you're going to hear it from your friends or family, right? Here's in the metrics saying something that was really interesting. He said 3/19/20 today. That is. It was announced that chloroquine, so this is being tested to treat coronavirus. He meant 3/9, right? So because that's today, 3/9/20 today. So this chloroquine is being tested to treat coronavirus. It's also known as CQ. So he's pointing back to all of this post 116, where it says, "Thank you, Z. Good start. China. QC cancel." Isn't that interesting? So I'm not sure if he's on the, but he's basically talking about CQ being this chloroquine, and could that been a 2-year delta? Because this was April 9th, 2018. So this may have been a 2-year delta, showing that this is about ready to get canceled the day before Good Friday. So interesting theory there. So here's this 105 post thread from Praying Metric, who did a great job on this. And so he had 77 on just April 8th. You'll go see. And he does some cute things, like there's a picture with Pepe the Frog in between the President Trump and the First Lady Melania. But you'll see Praying Medic here. I'm going to move to the ones where he did today. As you can see, this is 8 hours ago, so it's talking about the 9th today. So this is AG Barr expresses frustration that the media and Democrats were fine with hydroxychloroquine until the president began touting it as a therapy for COVID-19. Since then, according to Barr, the media has been on a jihad to discredit the drug. So that's what we're talking about there. So we went through all these a second ago, but I just want to show you that he did a really good job documenting this. And sometimes he'll go in and explaining it in a little bit more detail. That's what I like about what he does here. So, but these are just the regular old posts from 4/9 and 4/9 that we just reviewed. But he throw things up like this. That this is from the 8-Kun board, right? Good afternoon, boss. You hide the truth in plain view, of course. That's how we do art. So they're talking about how, again, the cannibalism and all this stuff they put right in front of us, and then try to call it fake and hide the truth, even though they put it out in front of us. And this is talk about the CIA weaponized the term conspiracy theory. He just has a misspelling there, to silence anyone who questioned the government's official narrative of the Kennedy assassination. So this article talks exactly about that, countering criticism with the Warren Mission report. They literally, if you look at some of the JFK files, talked about this being a method that they deployed to try to silence anybody who didn't believe in the Warren Commission report, which was obviously a report that was built by the enemies of Kennedy, and probably the ones allegedly who actually created the assassination attempt, or planned it at least. Those who were skeptical of the government narrative were vindicated after President Trump released documents regarding the Kennedy assassination. So some of these things came out 50 years later. This is what I tell people in the car, when I'm in a Uber drive or a Lyft car, and I build a relationship with them, get to know them a little bit. And then asked to get them on Operation Mockingbird. I always talk about the Kennedy files, because it's always something they lied to us for 50 years. What they lies about? Well, it talks about there were 2 shooters, not 1. He was hit by 2 bullets from 2 different directions, confirming that 2 shooters were involved. We have doctors knowing that he was shot in the neck. That's been hidden from us for 50 years. Clearly, the Warren Commission report was a cover-up operation. And when we get the rest of the files, I think it's going to be really open up to see exactly what happened. And so this is just a copy of the document that shows us exactly that. You can see right here, said the Surgeon General report on the assassination stated that the first bullet entered the president's throat below the Adam's apple, clearly showing that 2 persons were involved, with the first shot being fired from the bridge across the parkway in front of the car. To further substantiate their, Potito said there was a bullet hole in the windshield of the president's car. So again, these are clearly showing that they've lied to us for 50 years plus, right? If you ask analysts to look into the JFK files shortly after they were released in 2017, this was post 92, where it says, Seth Rich only mentioned because it directly relates to SA, Las Vegas. What hotel did the reported gunfire occur from? What floor specifically? Who owns the top floors? Bill Gates and the Saudis. Top floors only? Why is that relevant? What was the shooter's name? Why? What was his net worth? How do you identify a spook? What can historical data collection reveal? And it goes on, but who was he registered as a security guard? Why is MS-13 important? And then here's the highlighted part. What doesn't add up? Was there only one shooter? Why was JFK released? What do the JFK files infer? Was there only one shooter? So just like Las Vegas, there was more than one shooter. That's what they do. They bring in teams of these people, right, to accomplish these things. Sources already indicted. It's darn good thing its saggy arse is behind him or he'd trip over it. Thanks, Tammy Eaton. Sneaky old creep. Hashtag the storm. That's it. So this is Praying Medicaid Sparkle. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And we look at here, it says that was 84. 85, what happens when a state actors, we went through that already, but they're talking about nations like China when we're talking about the blackmail, right? Just like you have Dianne Feinstein having somebody on her staff for years that ended up being a Chinese spy, right? And she acts like she didn't know it, like, right. And this is kind of a funny picture here, those of you who are not on the podcast, but it basically shows Nadler, Maxine Waters, and Pelosi, and several other of the shifty shifts and others with brackets around their heads. Quite funny. There's those of you who are backstage know that's Nadler, the Toad, based on some funny things we talked about backstage with Gene. By the way, if you missed backstage, Gene went pretty deep into 9 and 10 stuff. So I tell people only go backstage if you want to go down rabbit holes. But we did a 2-part series, one last week and one this week, getting into the secret space programs, the war that's been going on for quite some time to prepare for this moment right here. It's quite exciting. 87 gets into FISA goes both ways, back in a post for all the way back in November of 2019. Phones were present. FISA goes both ways. Information warfare, Q. So these FISA are actually going both ways. That's kind of exciting for sure. It seems the first indictments will be related to the FISA abuse by members of the Obama administration. Now, who it is will be interesting. I would love it to be more like the Brennans and the Clappers of the world, right? Would be more exciting than, to me, the Comeys and the McCabe's and everybody else we know that are guilty at all, right? And now here we have the scot-free and the whole Shills wine thing. We watched the 6-second video here of Barr, but here's what I love. What Perry Medic does a really good job. He went back to scot-free production and showed us that scot-free production says between productions of White Squall, right? And there's he even I don't know where he got this, but it says Shills Wine, 2020, Phoenix, Arizona. Thought that was pretty well done as well. Back channels are important. It's talking about Q. We know bad actors will be prosecuted because our back channel source, Q, has clued us into the president's plans. It's a beautiful way to awaken millions of people. Would POTUS make a statement like this if he had no plans to hold criminals accountable? And we saw this. This is when he's talking about Crooked Hillary and the fake dossier, and they got caught with dirty cops. Like dirty cops being the McCabe's and the Strucks and the Comeys of the world, and at least the Pages of the world as well. I guess the dirty lawyer right there with them. We saw the Malik Obama here. We saw the hunters become the hunted. Quite exciting. Most people assume POTUS is talking about the virus when he speaks of war, but he's not. He's referring to the corrupt people who have weaponized weapons of war, the virus, against him and against the world. On March 23rd, POTUS said he was at war, speaking of the coronavirus. So that's that March 23rd date we need to watch. Talking about the invisible enemy. On February 10th, Q suggested that POTUS allowed Obama holdovers to remain in certain positions and allowed them to commit illegal acts, providing evidence of their corruption. The Mueller investigation and impeachment allowed the introduction of more evidence of the corruption. So, Praying Medic in this thread is really good for normies because the very beginning talks about the beginning from yesterday's drop on. So if you want to wake up normies, this is a great thread. So go to blessedteach.com, blessed with a number 2 teach.com, and you'll see everything I'm showing you here and links to it all. You can sign up an email. I'll send them to you every morning. Everything I show you here. You obviously can go to Twitter too and just follow Praying Medic. He does great threads. So does In the Matrix does great threads. So do many other people. Julian Drum. Obviously Joe M's been knocked off now. Hopefully he'll come back. I did see some people say he's going to be coming back because Patriots are in control. That's what I hope. The meme, Hunters Become the Hunted, illustrates how the tables have been turned. Those who once hunted POTUS are now being hunted. You got to love that. Then we see the fake news, CNN stuff happening. And why would the media want to make the pandemic appear worse than it really is? The truth is right in front of you. Of course, they are trying to make the economy go down. That's exactly right. What's level 5 stuff, Rick? Somebody's saying. So I just put like QAnon early stuff was like level 1, and I put it all the way to level 10 of some of the things Gene teaches, okay? And so it's stuff that you would not believe, you know. And so when you start to get into the space wars and talking about clones and all that type of stuff, I put that as higher levels, and I'm documenting the heck out of everything we have. And so I try to keep front stage so people that are new to the movement could come here and just not get shocked and not ever want to come back. Right, backstage is for deeper rabbit holes, for those of you who want to come in and really explore deeply with us all, right? And with that, I'm just going to show you guys real quickly. So you're just going to go to blessedteach.com. Here's where you can sign up for the email list, blessed with the number 2 teach.com, and then right here you're going to go to backstage. That is where you will be able to. And again, do not join this unless you really want to go all these rabbit holes. You want to really understand advanced technology and these advanced medical research and where it came from, and is there ET technologies and where those come from, and was Atlantis really exist? Are there aliens, or what's really going on with all this and really digging into deep rabbit holes that I try to reconcile back with a lot of evidence into the Bible. Okay, that's exclusive content. My son actually has a red pill video on there as well, so less from China. We bring a lot of exclusive things in that I don't want front stage. Okay, and then we also have a Facebook type community. So that's a pretty cool thing too, because my Facebook account that I created, they knocked me out for 3 months because I shared somebody else's video that they didn't like. Right, it was a video about We Are Q or something, and somebody said that was reported that was as fake news, and so they took me out of my own account for 3 months on Facebook. It was a Facebook group versus a Facebook page, but this shows you how. That's why I had to pay for my whole platform called Kajabi that holds all these videos, holds this exclusive content, holds my courses that I teach, and also holds this Facebook type community. So it's a great community of red-pilled Christian patriots. And then I have a searching engine, which is a separate platform that you can get there from the same place, but it's in the cloud, incredibly fast. You can search on every word Gene said, every word Mark Taylor said on my show, and Amanda Grace has said on my show, what I've said on my show, and you can find the exact phrase and minute of that, which blows away YouTube searching capabilities because it's literally searching every word and finding the exact minute and second to go there. Great research tool if you really are into this movement. And you can also do that for the prophecies. I have a separate one for the prophecies. You can go search those and see me reading them and see the exact word and sentence. So it's a great research tool. And then you can come on 5 minutes before and 5 or 10 minutes after. Sometimes we go 20, 25 minutes after and hear questions from Gene, etc. Questions you have for me or talking about the show. And then even if you miss all those things live, everything's recorded on the Kajabi platform. So I've got these 3 platforms. It's the triangle. It's a good triangle. It's like I got the Zoom platform for us to be live together and talk, etc. It's recorded, then it's put into the Kajabi platform, and I have the Searchy platform for the high speed. 3 separate platforms, so if YouTube knocks us off, we are fine. Plus, you get to go down to the different levels I was just talking about. So I know that was a little bit of a rabbit trail there myself, but I was just trying to show you guys. Again, don't go there unless you really want to go deep into things, because there's the choice of no to be yours. There's people that don't want to know all that stuff, okay? And we're going to probably do something on decalcifying your pineal gland for your health and to produce melatonin and get spiritually more connected to the Lord. He didn't want us to have a calcified pineal gland. Come on. That doesn't make any sense, right? So a couple other things I wanted to go over on the Praying Medic thread is he did the Rwanda thing there, and then he just said, we are united in this fight. Where we go one, we go all. And then he has a full PDF of the thread. So pretty great work. Follow Mr. Praying Medic. He's done just an awesome job. Here's it says, I'll real Donald Trump, QAnon, MAGA. When does it become mathematically impossible? Patriots are in control. White hat op. So this is somebody just saying, what are the chances that the virus hits its apex on Easter Sunday and hits on DJT's birthday? So anyway, if you look at the trend of all this thing, the whole thing might kind of peak right at this time. Let's listen to this real quick.
You want to see something whacked? How long has Trump been talking about Easter Sunday and the whole Q movement talking about Easter Sunday? What's the chances that this virus peaks on Easter Sunday, and then watch what happens next?
2 days. The University of Washington's IHME model, which is often cited by the Coronavirus Task Force, and often wrong, now says the U.S. will hit Easter Sunday, and that will be the apex of coronavirus deaths with an...
Okay, so what's the chances that the virus peaks exactly on Easter Sunday, and now watch what happens next?
Estimated 2,200. Deaths are then projected to start going down until we get to 0 on June 14th.
What did he just say?
So it's supposed to get to 0 on June 14th.
We're going to rewind it a little bit.
And June 14 happens to be Trump's birthday. That's what it's talking about. So here he continues to talk.
Going down until we get to 0 on June 14th.
June 14th. Donald J. Trump's birthday. Are you kidding me?
So anyway, interesting stuff that those 2 dates are coming up on things. So here is Lou, who is often on and a moderator on our account, saying it's happening now. #Q, #justice 41020. And this was literally posted today, where it was the FBI in El Paso that said it's #happening now. I was talking about a FBI El Paso live chat, but interesting. It shows some military there, kind of interesting things going on there. Did you know that Trump released a 1964 FBI memo regarding Kennedy's assassination that says JFK was hit by 2 bullets from 2 different directions? See, most people don't know this. Even though those were released and the fake news didn't cover it and kind of covered the whole thing up. What if the problem with hydroxychloroquine, and this is that Z-Pack, is that it cures AIDS, HIV, HSFV1, and HSV2? So again, you get this oxygen in your body, and what they've done to us with the chemtrails and everything else is the oxygen gets sucked out of our bodies, right? Not only is it calcifying our pineal gland, it's also reducing the amount of oxygen we have. And so that's why the 1 minute cure that Gene's introduced to us with that book, that is a very well written and well researched book about getting hydrogen peroxide in your water, can really have an amazing effect, as well as what this hydroxychloroquine does. Because this virus, basically your immune system gets all of a sudden becomes deprived of oxygen. And there's not only, this book actually talks about this oxygenation can actually, again, really reduce the amount of need for pharmaceutical drugs. That's why they don't want us to know about it. They want you deprived of oxygen completely. Here's Dr. Oz is pissed after New York Governor Cuomo shuts down his study on hydroxychloroquine. So all these deep state characters do not want you to know how easy it is to get rid of this virus. They want you to be fearful of it, even though it kills less than 1% of people now, it looks like, when all the stats are starting to come in now. And the fact that it could have been a lot less if the media and the cabal didn't hide hydroxychloroquine. It's a good thing Trump started talking about to make it almost impossible for them to hide it. Let's listen to what this doctor says, Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz is not pleased with the governor's actions. Watch.
Well, the trial that I was helping with at my institution was shut down when the governor banned the use of hydroxychloroquine for prescription use for outpatients. And I was trying to see if we could prevent, there's a prevention trial which was approved, but I was trying to see if we could actually treat early disease and replicate what's been done in China and in France. Unfortunately, those trials have been held back. I don't know of a trial in New York State. I've been searching for the one that was spoken about, but doesn't seem to be going on in the way that I appreciate. There is one at University of Minnesota. I don't know when they're going to yield results, but I spoke this morning to the famous French infectious disease specialist, Didier Raoult. He's the one who's really been pioneering the hydroxychloroquine with the azithromycin. Right. And he shared, this is not published yet, but he shared the results of his first 1,000 patients who have been on that protocol. 7 people died. They were all older and frail individuals. That is lower than you would expect for people admitted to the hospital. And he's had 20 go to the ICU, again, lower than I would expect, but it's not a randomized trial. On the other hand, I'm very upset, Luke, because people keep calling the data around hydroxychloroquine anecdotal. The reason so many doctors are leaning in this direction is because it's not anecdotal. A case series of 1,000 patients is not anecdotal. And more importantly, there was a randomized trial from China, a randomized trial where patients were put in one of 2 groups. The group that got the hydroxychloroquine had shorter time till the fever resolved, shorter time till their cough resolved, both of which are surrogates for infectivity, we believe. And most importantly, their CT scans showed dramatic improvement in resolution. All of these statistically significant. So this.
There you go. Statistically significant information, but then you have the Dr. Fauci's of the world lying to us through their teeth as they want to sell you Bill Gates' vaccine and mandate it for everybody in the world where they can track you. It's pretty crazy stuff going on. Here's Dr. Shiva, another great person to follow on Twitter, who he's basically saying, I urge to immediately sign an executive order requiring high-dose IV vitamin C for those in critical condition to inhibit the... And then he wants you to put people in 4 different categories, and there are certain ones that just you give them a high dose of vitamin C, and this will clear up. Gene talked about the same thing. So there's different. You can't. It just should not be one size fits all. It's not just hydroxychloroquine. There's also vitamin C. Just regular absorbic acid can get rid of this thing. So this thing that we should not be in fear of. We should just be treating the immune systems correctly. We don't do that. And anyway, we've got interesting stuff here. We went over the backstage. Here's just a quick view of backstage, just to let you guys know. Like here's the backstage videos. This would be basically the 5 minutes before and the 15 or 20 minutes after that we have of each and every episode, right? See that's a recording of all that type of stuff. You can also have exclusive content here. You'll see this is the Secret Space Program. We just did the second one. I'll be posting up tomorrow morning. And then you have Gene on Gassara, Gene Unleashed. We have Les, who was quarantined in China, live there, and an interview from him. We have Gene Unleashed in February. We got the Atlantis dumb tunnels and human history with Gene. Got the health hoax I did to show exactly how come I feel so incredible right now based on uncalcifying my pineal gland and taking the right supplements to where I feel incredibly healthy and got incredibly strong in the weight room. I was telling you about that. Gene Unleashed, Gene's death experience, a lot of, there's a couple pages of stuff here. Mark Taylor even confirming the Underground War. This is all backstage information, including my son's story about how he red pilled and his advice for red pilling others as being a millennial. That's just the examples of that type of stuff. Gene, did you have something?
Yeah, I also got a lot of health documents and a lot of really fantastic spiritual and patriotic music and some funny stuff too.
Yeah, and that's all in the community. That's kind of like the Facebook page here. I'll show you here is that you go to the community site and have them in topics. What are you thankful for? General red pill information, prayer warriors, praying for each other. Here's the questions for Gene. Again, he's getting nailed with over 300 emails a day or more, and he's not able to keep up. I'm getting over 100 a day and can't keep up, guys. So we're trying to ask you if you can come to backstage. It's $14 a month. You can less than $9 a month, I think it is, if you do pay for the year. Putting the questions here is going to consolidate things, and everybody can see them. It's a much better way to do things. Sharing information. This is that red pill, 92 songs of or so of red pill music. It's a beautiful way to really kind of consolidate all our information. We're talking about all these other suggested links. And back to the categories though a little bit. We have all these red pill documents right here that Gene's that we're pulling together. Here's all the health documents on the cleansing. This has to do with the hydrogen peroxide. There's a link to the actual PDF of the entire book there. You've got the MMS, these cleansings, the pineal gland, and health there. There's the health hoax document again. And this DMSO thing that Gene's talking about. But look at the amount of documents back here, all for you guys backstage. So join us there, because that is where, obviously if we get knocked off YouTube, that's where we're going to be. Dr. Shiva goes into another thing talking about the immune system and how vitamin A, D, and C can really work. And so there's a variety of things that all has to do with immune health, not trying to get rid of this virus and have a vaccine against it. It's just, if you have a healthy immune system, you're going to knock this thing out, just like you do influenza. Here's Trump saying that the Wall Street Journal always forgets to mention that the ratings for the White House press briefings are through the roof. Monday Night Football, Bachelor, finale, according to the New York Times. And it's only way for me to escape the fake news and get my views across. Wall Street Journal is fake news. So guys, it's like, it's all the media. And even Fox is just sad how they are controlled opposition, and especially in many of the shows like Chris Wallace bringing on Bill Gates telling us that we all need to be vaccinated. What a crock. Here he's saying that OAN, a key coronavirus model, is now predicting far fewer deaths than the number shown in earlier models. That's because the American people are doing a great job. Social distancing, etc. Keep going. Bottom line, guys, is that we're talking over 2 million deaths. They were hyping this up. They're even now counting deaths that shouldn't be counted as coronavirus. Even if it could be, even theoretically, if it could be, they're marking it as COVID-19. And then all of a sudden you see other deaths that are we usually have so many per week in America, in a big, huge country like this. All those are plummeting. Why? Because they're trying to say almost every death is caused by this thing. It's a panic, planned attack is what this is. The controversial foreperson in the Roger Stone trial, remember that person that was on the jury? This Tomika Hart here works for the Bill Gates Foundation. What do you know? What do you know? Last thing I have is POTUS just now said, I think we have a lot of very big news to report right before 4/10/20 Good Friday. So tomorrow is 4/10/20 Good Friday. Again, Good Friday is a day that we celebrate a lot as Christians, as a day that the Lord died for our sins. And then obviously on Easter we celebrate. Really what was awesome is when he rose from the dead, conquering death, defeating Satan. What an amazing time. And that is the whole good news gospel we talk about all the time. And it is pretty awesome to be thinking through that. And with that, guys, I'm just going to say, wow, what a time to be alive, to be able to look at this. I'm going to look at my prophecies real quick and go to one of these, the evil crew of 32. Just quickly go over this. This is a Mark Taylor prophecy. I think I can get rid of this. I'll do that. I'll make it a little bit bigger. As one example of just some incredible prophecies that he gave. I'm already up to the hour, though. I might try to find a little bit shorter one. Here's this Satan's frequency. That's a long one, too. Kim Clement, it's got a long one. Man, I have all these. I'm going to do Time is Up because it's a shorter one. This is Mark Taylor on November 17th, 2015, swordrescue.com. The Spirit of God says, I am neutering the sitting president. I am neutering the sitting president in this hour. Remember, this is 2015. He's talking about Obama. So the evil and corrupt ideologies and theologies can no longer reproduce in this country I call my United States of America. For this man who holds the title called President of the United States will begin to lose his grip from it, and be stripped of it. For the Lord God will rip it from him. This man who calls himself commander-in-chief is nothing more than a lying, deceitful thief. So Mark really thinks he's going to eventually be stripped of his title. Obviously, once it comes out that he wasn't even an American citizen and all the crimes he committed, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. The Spirit of God says, time is up for those who are corrupt. For shall begin to remove those who shall for evil in leadership and stand in the way of my agenda. Judges, senators, congressmen, and women of all kinds, even in the local, state, and federal lines. Even the Supreme Court is not immune from their corrupt and evil ways. For I will remove some and expose their backdoor deals which have been at play. For my America has been chosen as a launching platform for my harvest, and she will be a light unto the world once again as I clean up that which is the darkest. Fear not, America. Your greatest days are ahead of you. Arise, my army, and fight and watch what will do for you. That is Mark Taylor, November 27th, 15. And I think I just want to echo this. Fear not, America. Fear not. This is the time for us to be praying, asking for this virus to halt. And I'll end with this memory verse. Matthew 5:16 says, in the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. That's Matthew 5:16. So let your light shine. Don't put it under a desk, right? Let your light shine. Show your love of others. Pray for people. Show them you're calm. Show them you have the peace that transcends all understanding. Show them that you are not afraid of this cabal, of this everything that's going on and all this mess, because you have the light of Christ in you. Matthew 5:16, in the same way, let your light shine before others, that you may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Let me pray. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for your Bible that is the living Word of God. There's so much wisdom in the biblical text, Lord, and we really appreciate you for bringing us the Word of God. Thank you for all the people that have been on the show, Amanda Grace and Mark Taylor, and especially Gene, what he's done lately, and lightness to what really is happening in this silent civil war. And we just pray for a blessing on he and his family. Pray for a blessing on everybody that's listening to my voice right now, Lord, that you'll use them in a mighty way for your kingdom, especially if they're red-pilled Christian patriots, Lord. We love you. We want to serve you in this time, Lord. Rescue the children. Protect the president. Protect the white hats. Protect the military involved in all these underground areas and just all the work they're doing to rid us from the silent enemy. Thank you, Lord. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Gene, did I hear you there?
Yeah, I got something that we need to bring up. There's some people reporting that there was a coup on the president and that Trump's now just a puppet, and they're basing this on the fact that the podium doesn't have the presidential seal. That is a symbol, and what it means is that he is no longer under the seal of the cabal. He's no longer controlled by England. Our country is now completely free. He is unsealed. Like, you've broken the seal, so you've broken the seal of Satan. Yeah. That's what that means. It doesn't mean there was a coup on our president.
Yeah, that's been pretty clear that the whole presidential thing is like they're esquires to the crown, right? Yep,
and that is now unsealed. The British law, Admiralty law. The admiral is Lucifer, and the Brit is a written agreement. Ish is the people of. They have a written agreement written in blood with Satan. And that seal has been broken out from our country by the patriots that are serving God and the one true living God and his son, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's they call that the fear porn that's all over the place, right? That's around. We need to be exercising faith, envisioning the cabal gone, envisioning us ascending to heaven with the Lord, right? Envisioning what you want as the outcome, and praying for that. That's what Christ tells us to do that, right? In every situation, pray, present your request to God with thanksgiving. You're not presenting requests of thanksgiving if you're in fear, right? So,
Exactly. So relax, we're good.
Relax, we're good. Exercise that faith. Show people that you have that peace that transcends all understanding, right? Thank you, Gene. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. God bless everybody. Good night.
All right, we love you guys. We'll talk to you next time. You've just listened to the Blessed Teach Show. You're now empowered with the truth. Don't miss the edited short B2T clips on a new channel called B2T Clips. A big thank you to all the supporters on Patreon and PayPal. You are truly appreciated. For the links to these sites, as well as links for show notes, Backstage with Blessed to Teach, training courses, and more, visit blessedtoteach.com. That's blessed with the number 2, teach.com. God bless, and be sure to go empower others with the truth.